What if changing your mind doesn't mean starting over, but starting fresh? Hi, guys. I hope you're feeling amazing today. I hope you had an amazing week. And for those that don't know me, hi, hello, my name is Karina. This in specific is my weekly podcast. You can find my podcast here on YouTube in video format, along with Spotify, Amazon Music, and also Apple Music. If you do enjoy wellness content, mindset content, I would love to have you here. So if you want to, you can go ahead and subscribe on the button below. And without further ado, we will talk about the idea and the concept of pivoting, in particular without shame. Because we are in a society where we are taught that by a certain age we need to decide what we want to do, how we want to be, how we want to become, who we love, who we hate, who we this, who we that. And the reality here is that we can pivot without any sort of shame and without technically any consequences. Because the only consequences that will ever exist is if you're not authentic and loving yourself. So, how about we dive into it without any further time wasted in this intro? So, if you're ready, let's get started. So, one thing that I want to make sure to address is one of the biggest fears associated with changing or pivoting in any sort of category in your life, which is what if they think I failed? What if they judge me? What if it's always the what ifs, but we never do what if I stay in the spot that I am and most likely I'll be unhappy. And that is the question that a lot of people don't do when they're thinking about this pivoting and when they have this fear that they keep holding on, is that you will keep going and you will keep fighting for the same thing over and over again, even if it does not fulfill you, even if it actually drains you. And unfortunately, we are in a society where I can tell you from my own personal experience, I was told in ninth grade that I had to decide which high school option I wanted to do. And then once you are in high school, then you need to start figuring it out what degree you want to pick by the time that you reach your 18 years old out of your high school into college. And those are really hard decisions to do, and which is why a lot of people go into a college degree and then they proceed to leave because it does not align with them anymore because they are too young to make such a decision. And it's not just the young people needing to pivot, it's also older people. I pivoted at 28. I decided that I did not want this anymore, that I did not want the career I had been building, that I was exhausted, that I was tired, that I wasn't connecting with it anymore. And I had to pivot careers. I had to pivot how I felt, how I decided. I pivoted in my relationships. I pivoted in so many things. And yes, I was scared. It is terrifying to think, what will my family think of me? What will my friends think of me? Will people think I failed? Will people think that I didn't try hard enough? There's also the thing of like, oh, I already told people what I was doing already. I have to do what I was. You're going to live your life with what ifs? I used to cling to the idea of what was safe. And what was safe for me at the time was I took a course in being a makeup artist. So I was a professional makeup artist. I worked in TV. I worked in stores. I went through around the places, but I felt like my whole career was just jumping from place to place, working different times, never having a stable schedule, never feeling like I could get home at a normal time and see my family. I felt like I was always on the go. And there was this like moment during COVID where basically found myself being with my thoughts. And what I mean being with my thoughts is because I was constantly on the go, I finally had the ability of just stopping. And that stop, that silence, that I don't need to wake up early. I don't need to go to bed early. I'm not getting home late. I don't need to go to work. I don't need to do any of that. that caused me to finally have to address my subconscious and realize that I didn't like what I was doing and I needed to change. But I was so focused in keeping what I knew because it was safe that it was extremely hard to change. So, I want to teach you the art of the pivot or the art of pivoting because it's not an easy path. And I feel like I could give you some of the steps that I implemented myself that really helped me in the process of actually going ahead and doing the pivoting. So, step one is normalizing the evolution. What I mean by that is we change, we evolve, things happen, and we just start to see ourselves and the world in a different way. And what I want you to first do in this step is realize that not only is that normal, but not to see it in a negative way and embracing the fact that you're just simply evolving into a new version of yourself without losing yourself. Because the whole point of pivoting is just becoming more like yourself. Step two is recalibrate the frame. What I mean by that is sometimes we have this idea that when we're pivoting, we might be failing because we may have a career that we have done, we may have a family that we have built, we may have an identity that we have created. And it's really difficult for you to be looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking that you want to change any of those pillars or change all of those pillars. And what I want you to acknowledge is that it's not failure. Step three, check the reason. What is the reason for you to pivot? Did you have to change your heart? Did you disconnect with the job that you had? Are you disconnecting with yourself, with other people? Find the reason and really analyze it, because a lot of people think that they're pivoting when in reality they're just changing. And the idea of pivoting is understanding that not only are you doing a massive change, but there's also a definite reason behind it. There is a reason that just is so strong that you have no other option but to actually follow the reason. Step four is anchoring in your why. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or changing for someone else? Or are you doing it because you innately have this calling, this feeling, this almost like the sensation like if I don't change, I can't breathe. For me, especially, I had the sensation of like I need to change because if I don't, I feel like I'll be drowning within myself. Like I felt so under appreciated and so lacking when it came to my current job. Like I felt like I was just jumping from store to store. I was working in shops for like 6 months and then being thrown away, 6 months and then being thrown away. I felt so unmotivated. And then I felt like I started to hate my job. So for me, it was really important to understand why did I wanted to change. And also when I then understood why I wanted to pivot, it just became so much easier to actually go ahead and do it because I was like, oh my God, my reason is so valid and is so strong. There's no way that I cannot follow this. I wanted to do a parenthesis to make you understand that I have done the same. I changed careers, I changed beliefs, I changed how I saw the world, how I saw myself. I went through a massive shift for the last 5 years. The person that is sitting right here with you is not the same person that you would have seen 5 years ago. And I know for a fact that it makes it really difficult for people when they see themselves having to pivot. But I actually wanted to bring some examples in real life that for a fact have happened. And it just makes you understand that you are not alone in the world when you decide that you really need to do this change for yourself. Some of the most successful people in life did not go in a straight line. Oprah got fired from her first job. Steve Jobs got kicked out of his own company. Even Brené Brown admitted at some point that she almost quit writing because she was scared of being seen. Trust isn't built through perfection, it's built through honesty. You need to be honest with yourself when you're doing this. You're not going to do it for the sake of someone else. You have to do it for your own sake, for your own choices. There's no one else that you need to be concerned with besides yourself. One thing that I want to make really clear is that you don't need to justify any of the changes that you are doing to anyone. No one is ever going to be so strongly connected to you that you cannot pivot. And even those like our loved ones, our family, our friends that have been with us for years, if they see us change and shift, the correct path that they only need to do is just to support you all the way. Because those are the actual people that deserve to stay in your life. If you have been meaning to pivot in your life, to create a lasting change, to change careers, to change jobs, to change countries, to change whatever you wish, this is your permission slip. Go ahead, make the change, build the life of your dreams, and don't give up. Nothing is out of your reach as long as you keep looking forward and fighting your way through. This is not a straight line. This is a stairs. This is ups and downs. And you will find yourself someday at the top of the hill. Do not give up. So, we are done. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave it a like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. If you prefer Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, actually, go ahead and also check those out. And if you want to see me more closely and have a closer connection to me, I do have my Instagram. I am Karina S. Franco, and I hope to see you in the next week for the newest episode. Bye bye.